both kind of, exploring the dating apps, and was coming across this girl I thought was very cute. Seemed like she had her act together. It seemed like everything was great. So ended up swiping and we connected, and I was like, oh, great. I had a really good feeling about it. And, I kind of watched it for the longest time, hoping she'd respond. Ended up spending money to get it extended, and unfortunately never got the response I was hoping for.
So the joke is that he spent $5 on me before we ever met.
That's right. But then about a month later, a mutual friend of ours, she's like, Drake, I got somebody that I could really set you up with. I think you guys would be a good match. She tells me Emma's name, and I look her up on Facebook. I was like, oh, there's that girl again.
Courtney had told me when she mentioned Drake to me that I think he might be moving. I'm not sure.
So I sent you a message on Facebook, and we ended up going out later that week.
When Drake reached out to me, I was like, can't hurt, I guess. And so for me, it was almost like really low stress because I figured I didn't even know if he was going to be around for a second date.
Well, so on my end, I did not know Courtney told Emma that I might be moving. So I battled with reaching out whether or not it'd be fair to even do that. And then I kind of just said, let's give it a chance. If it's something special, we'll figure it out after that. We sat down and started talking, and we talked like we were people that knew each other for years, not that we had just met in the parking lot.
We sat over there and talked for 5 hours, closed the place down, talked about anything and everything, probably things that you're not supposed to talk about on a first date.
Kind of left the parking lot, I was like, wow, that was so easy. It was so comfortable. It was so natural for both of us. Felt like there was big potential for something there. We went out a couple times, and then, it was at a point where I was like, okay, I really like this girl. I need to probably let her know that I'm moving. I'm all choked up, getting ready to say this, knowing I'm gonna make her feel bad, and I tell her that I'm moving, and she goes, yeah, I know. And I kind of looked at her like, what? And you still want to go out with me? And she's like, yeah, we'll figure it out and see where it goes.
I'm gonna love you all my life.
I felt it pretty early on. Within probably a couple weeks. One night we were sitting out on my back porch at the time and just sitting there having a drink, hanging out. I definitely felt it, but at that point I was like, oh, there's no way I can say it yet. And I remember we were standing there in the garage and we were both kind of looking at each other. It was that moment where I felt like, I knew that you knew how I was feeling, and I think you knew that I knew how you were feeling, and that was the point I really felt like we said it to each other. But verbally, I think it happened a couple days later.
Yeah, I think we were just sitting there having a drink, and you said it and I said it back, but we were both like, yeah, I remember the other day. I wanted to say it then, but I didn't.
Yep.
And it seemed like we were on the same
I'm
page.
gonna love you all my life.
The way we're able to have fun together, whether it's just sitting around, drinking a beer, laughing, telling jokes, or, going on adventures like we do, to different places, we constantly just have such a great time together.
We spend 24/7 together, and we talk about all the time how I don't know, maybe it's a bad thing that we never get tired of each other.
I'm gonna live to make you smile.
I started talking pretty early on about, engagements, getting married, things like that. Probably way too early on.
Dude.
If we're being honest, her pumping the brakes on us is the logical thing to do. But in the back of my mind, I always knew, let's give this time, let's let it grow. Let's not be overly hasty. So Emma set a couple rules beforehand. Big one was we had to be dating for a year. I would, give her a hard time early on about, well, let's just do it now. And this was probably 5 or 6 months in. And then once it got more to the serious point of me looking at rings, I kind of cooled on it, which I think made Emma a little nervous.
Yeah,
I kind of stopped talking about it a little bit to try to not give anything away. And she's like, well, are you just not gonna do it anymore? And me off to the side, I'm working with Katie. I'm trying to come up with how I'm gonna do it and everything. I ended up doing it through an online source. So I wouldn't lie to her, but I'd say, I haven't gone to a ring store. I haven't gone and looked at anything.
The world may rearrange, the colors they may change. Oh,
Felt like I had everything pretty well mapped out. I was gonna bring her back here to Obed and Isaac's where we had our first date. I was gonna use Jenna to kind of distract her for the day while I could kind of, keep her off balance. But lo and behold, secrets are a little harder to keep, especially when you live together.
If I would have had to guess, I would have thought that the weekend of our anniversary, I would have expected or thought that that's when we would get engaged.
Emma started to catch on and kind of figured out like what the plan was. So of course, then I said, all right, well, there's no way I can do it then. Like, you found out about it, it's ruined it all. And so I kind of went back to the drawing board, and the more I thought about it, I was like, there's no way she's expecting it now on that day, so like, let's just do it.
My friend Jenna dropped me off right here, and I had like a backpack, and she's like, well, why don't I just keep that? And I was like, but you're going home. And she's like, oh yeah. But like, she knew that she was going to see me later that night. I thought nothing of the fact that like I walked up here and Drake was standing by himself.
I had actually been here for probably 45 minutes to an hour. So I was rehearsing in my head what exactly I was gonna say, what I had the best words picked out for how exactly this picturesque moment was gonna happen. I was pacing the bar,
I walked up to the bar and I set my bag down, and we probably chatted for like a minute or two. And then I kind of blacked out.
Got into the speech, and I probably couldn't recite exactly what I said, but it was along the lines of the one rule of it being they had to wait a year. Well, I waited 364 days and had to be stubborn about it, and do it the day. Couldn't wait a day longer to ask this question. But Emma's response was, "What? What's happening? What? I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it.
I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it." Like, I was soaking. I genuinely did not think it was happening.
Got down on one knee and
said yes, and I eventually got or understood what was going on.
I've never met somebody with a bigger heart than Emma. She's always putting me first, always putting her friends first, her family first. I mean, almost to a fault. She is so selfless. The chemistry that her and I have together is something that is incredible. We have so much fun. It really doesn't matter what we're doing. I never feel like I'm bored when the two of us are together. Emma, it all started with a 5-hour conversation over a couple of beers. From there, we become best friends, we become roommates, we become soulmates. I can't wait for us to become husband and wife. I have fun with you every day of my life, and I can't wait to make that official and call you my wife and make this forever something that we can hold on to and cherish and always look back on with such fondness. I love you, and I can't wait for our wedding day.
He's just like that person that's friends with everybody. He is so good to me, like sometimes more than I deserve. Drake, you are my best friend, you are my person, you are like the best part of my day. I already love every day with you, but I am so excited to begin the adventure together as your wife and for everything that we have to come. I know it's only gonna get better, so I can't wait to marry you. I love you so much.
I'm gonna